You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, a bill in the Kansas legislation could eliminate tax credits toward affordable housing.
Also, residents in Carthage express their frustration as power outages continue.
And we've got another beautiful day out there. Clouds increasing later today, but not too bad otherwise. Got to look at that forecast to get you out the door coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Snowy.
Chris Warner just after 7 o'clock on this Wednesday, March the 12th. And it is another great day across the area. And I think more importantly, we have a total lunar eclipse coming out Friday morning.
Very cool. Very exciting.
Which is the worm moon, by the way.
Yes.
It means that earthworms will be active in the soil during that time. We got that coming up. We'll tell you more about that here in just a few more minutes.
Well, switching gears on over to a Kansas House bill that could eliminate affordable housing tax credits.
As KOAM's Melissa Alexis shows us, affordable housing tax credits contribute to the building of various homes across Kansas and in the city of Pittsburgh.
This would have a huge effect.
It's a bill proposed by Sean Tarwater, a member of the Kansas House of Representatives. The bill, if it becomes a law, would eliminate tax credit that's used to build affordable homes throughout the state of Kansas. Representative Tarwater believes the program is too costly. The housing director for the city of Pittsburgh, Kim Froman, says if it becomes a law, it would negatively impact Pittsburgh.
Be individuals that might be on waiting lists or in those housing units. And if we don't create more units and more opportunity, those individuals could become homeless.
Thousands of affordable homes throughout the state of Kansas have been built through this tax credit. The assistant director of housing for the city of Pittsburgh says affordable homes in Pittsburgh have also been built through this tax credit.
A critical need for affordable housing in Pittsburgh. So with the loss of these type of tax credits, I think it will give the city a burden, likely heighten the difficulty of meeting that demand.
Froman says there are 431 affordable housing units in Pittsburgh that came about through this tax credit, including Pittsburgh Highlands, Sycamore Village, Pittsburgh Seniors, Stillwell Apartments, and more. The city of Pittsburgh even has upcoming projects in the works that wouldn't have been possible without this tax credit.
Remington Square, Pittsburgh Seniors, Sycamore Village. That would be a lot of people that wouldn't have a place if those projects didn't come to fruition.
Both Froman and Keener say eliminating this could potentially increase homelessness in Pittsburgh.
Because it's going to rise the prices of other housing up, I feel. So it's going to make units not affordable. So those individuals may have to move out. It may make waiting lists longer than they already are.
A city standpoint, and also just being, a citizen of this community and seeing the need and driving around and feeling it in our community, to lose this would be really detrimental.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
The Kansas House approved the bill, and it's now in the Senate.
Of course, affordable housing, big deal, especially in our area. This is a lower income area, and it's something that does help a lot of folks. So hopefully we can get something sorted out.
Absolutely.
Well, we've got some weather to talk about. Now, today's not going to be too bad. It's going to be cloudy, but it's still going to be quite warm out there. Quick look outside downtown Pittsburgh, speaking of, and you can see the skies are already cleared out. We had some clouds out there overnight. They're already on their way out, but it won't be long before we see clouds return. MoDOT camera, 32nd and Range Line, looking great as well. Folks lined up, getting their day underway, halfway through the work week. So here we are at noon. If you look around Grove and the Grand Lake area, you see those little bits of clouds, and as we go into the afternoon, those clouds continue to lift up to the north, and eventually we will be mostly cloudy to just plain old cloudy by this afternoon into the evening. And again, after about 6 o'clock or so, an isolated shower or storm will be possible, say between 6 and 11 this evening, south of I-44. But I do believe the majority of us will remain dry. And if we do see anything, it may only be 1 or 2 little showers or storms out there. For the temperatures, quite mild this morning, 55 in Joplin, and I think that video is down because I think that video is looping. I've seen that same shot a few times. Yep, it's looping. Okay, I'll fix that. 50 in Pittsburgh right now. The interesting things that happened throughout the morning. Temperatures this morning very similar to what we saw yesterday. Upper 40s, low 50s. We do have some warmer spots into the upper 50s. Oh, we have some cooler spots into the lower 40s. But again, not a bad start to the day whatsoever. Ahead of again the clouds. South breeze 5 to 10, occasional gusts to 20, and our highs upper 70s and low 80s today. We have the lunar eclipse, so we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about our Friday storm chances as well here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
A Carthage man pleads guilty in the murder of his wife in Kansas. Gavina McJunkins Macias has entered a guilty plea for murder in the second degree, unintentional but reckless, in the death of his wife, Kanaya Lopez, also of Carthage. Police found her body last June inside a camper trailer on the 600 block of North Main Street in Carthage. The investigation revealed a homicide had happened in Miami County, Kansas, and concluded in Carthage. Now, his sentencing for second-degree murder in Kansas is next month. On the Missouri side, prosecutors charged him with abandonment of a corpse. That case is ongoing. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, Carthage residents go through another round of power outages yesterday. Residents are saying it's causing growing frustrations throughout the community. Now, in a response to these concerns, we reached out to Carthage Water and Electric to get some answers. KOAM's Lonnie Walton has the story.
Every week to every 2 weeks we have a power outage. We had one last week. It lasted for 3 hours.
Susan Meyer is a Carthage resident. Today she had to struggle to get ready because she had no lights and she needed her coffee.
And I drove from one side of town looking for a coffee place open to the other side. Ended up driving to Joplin to buy a cup of coffee because the entire town, the power is out.
And why did she have to do that? We reached out to Chuck Bryant, the manager of Carthage Water and Electric, to see why there was another outage today.
What happened today was there was a failure of a piece of equipment in the substation on the south end of Carthage.
Bryant says this substation has nothing to do with his department.
It is not our substation. It is the substation of the Department of Energy. It's a federal substation for SPA, Southwest Power Administration. And we have no jurisdiction or ability to go in and make any repairs or fix anything.
Well, how powerful is this substation that Bryant is talking about?
And it trips offline. It creates the whole city will be dark, and that's what happened this morning.
With that said, Bryant says the SPA knows what's going on and are currently working to resolve it.
They've assured us that the power has been restored. There's some repairs that will be done in the next couple of weeks.
Now, this truly will make Meyer happy.
Everything's fine. Not having my morning cup of coffee now, that's a real problem there.
Reporting in Carthage, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Now, we did reach out to the Southwestern Power Administration, and they said they currently have temporary fixtures in place and are working hard to fix the situation for good. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, we'll hear from the Kansas State Research and Extension Office about how the Aging with Attitude Expo can help you maintain fitness as you age. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from the Girl Scout House in honor of National Girl Scout Day. Well, staying fit should be an important part of one's life, especially as you get older. We have Valerie Stone and Julie Smith from the Kansas State Research and Extension Office with us this morning to share how the Aging with Attitude Expo can help keep your fitness goals. Welcome to you so much. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. So talk to me a little bit about this Aging with Attitude Expo that you have going on.
Yes, so it's a collaboration between community partners and K-State Research and Extension. So what it is it covers mental health, physical health, and financial health.
And this is more for seniors.
Yes.
Yes.
It is for seniors, and it is also for older adults and caregivers.
Fantastic. And just looking at the schedule here, you're offering, an incredible amount of resources. Talk to me about some of those and just the different ways people can get involved at this expo.
So this day is just meant to be really fun. We offer a variety of programs covering topics such as cooking for one or two, diabetic health, mental wellness. So there's presentations, but there's also fun. So there's vendor booths with a lot of giveaways, and then there's some awesome prize drawings, and the $15 also includes lunch. So it's just a way to get out and have fun and do some learning.
Fantastic. And fun is such an important part of, keeping accountability to staying fit and taking care of your health. And also research shows as you get older, having community and accountability is also great for your mental health. Talk to me a little bit about, for those who, might be wanting to take a leap into their fitness journey, and how community and this events like this can really help as well.
Well, like Julie said, there's over 20 different vendors that are going to be there that can answer a lot of questions about all the different topics that we talked about. And also, we want everybody to know that we move it around every year. So this year, it is at the Independence Community College, which is 2615 West Main. And that's in Independence, Kansas. That's the West Campus.
Okay.
And we're really just encouraging people to make it a whole day. So we're going to provide a fun morning of activities and lunch. And then for some folks, it may be a little bit of a drive to Independence, but it's an awesome community. There's a zoo and a lot of shopping downtown. So we want folks to gather their friends, make it a road trip, and just enjoy a whole day together.
Absolutely. And so this event is $15.
Right.
Where can people sign up, and how can they get more information about this
So
event?
we've got a number that'll be on the screen that they can call, and that way they can register. But if they don't get that done and they decide at the last minute they want to come, they can come to the front door. We just can't guarantee a seat. But as long as seating is still available, they can go ahead and come in and register right at the door.
Wonderful. And this event is going to be Friday, April 25th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Any other information that folks need to know before they sign up?
It's just always a really great time.
It's going to be a good lunch, too.
It is.
So great deal for $15.
So come see us.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Julie and Valerie, for being with us this morning. Happy to have you. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:16 now on this Wednesday morning. We have a total lunar eclipse early Friday. So whether you're, maybe you stay up really late, like I used to, or maybe you're up really early, like we are now, you'll have an opportunity to see it because the skies are going to be clear as we go into early Friday morning. It's going to be very mild as well, a bit breezy, but very mild. So let's take a look. Here's the timeline on this thing. It will partial eclipse begins just after midnight. By about 1:26, the total eclipse begins. 1:58, we get the maximum eclipse, and by 2:31, that total eclipse ends. And then the partial will come to an end at about 3:47 in the morning on Friday. So again, maybe stay up a little later or maybe wake up a little earlier because the next time to see a total lunar eclipse in the U.S. will not be until March the 3rd of 2026. So just some information to throw out there for you. Now, here's the future track. We'll have the skies. They're already clearing now. We'll have clear skies through the morning, and then by noon, clouds begin to increase from the south, and we'll go to mostly cloudy to, in some cases, straight up cloudy. Does not stop us from warming up. Now, after 6, so between, say, roughly 6 p.m. and 11 p.m., an isolated shower or storm will be possible south of I-44. The overall chances are very low, and if we saw something, we're talking 1, perhaps 2 little showers or storms out there. No severe weather is expected. Skies then clear overnight. We go into Thursday. It is another warm day across the area, back into the upper 70s and low 80s as we head into the afternoon, and just, again, beautiful conditions. Now, going into Friday, again, for the eclipse, great viewing weather. It's going to be mild. We're talking upper 50s, maybe even some low 60s when this thing gets going, and then the winds begin to pick up. So our concerns on Friday at this point are mainly with this. We're talking south winds that could gust from 40 to 60 miles an hour. Some model data suggests that these winds could actually even gust to 70 miles an hour at times. So we're talking damaging wind gusts, a dangerous wind gust as we head into Friday with sunny skies. So if you're planning on a trip, if you've got a high-profile vehicle, you're going to be out. Otherwise, plan for the potential for power outages and or maybe even some small tree limbs being down by those winds. As we go later into the day, we're looking at an isolated shower storm, mainly on the Missouri side at this point, as a more significant severe weather event is expected to play out off to our east. So again, here's that low thunderstorm risk. It's not even for severe weather, just a thunderstorm or two south of I-44. And at this point, we have a low risk for storms barely scratching us. Same with the thunderstorm risk, as this is expected to develop off to our east and then unfortunately turn into a potentially significant severe weather event by Friday evening off to the east of us. So again, between here and there, upper 70s, low 80s, very breezy on Friday. Temperatures colder this weekend, but seasonably so. Then back to the 70s Monday and Tuesday, and then back to at or just a bit above normal for the second half of next week. We'll be back with more right after this.
Well, today marks the anniversary of the founding of the Girl Scouts by Juliette Gordon-Lau, who is now featured on the U.S. Quarter. Now, here to share more about Juliette's story and the Girl Scouts during Women's History Month is celebrity historian Rafi Andonian. Welcome.
Hey, I even come with the treats, the Girl Scout cookies. You know, they were homemade when they first started, when they were first released just a few years after the founding. They were homemade cookies. They did go to calendars during World War II because there was a shortage of some of the ingredients. But cookies, long time Girl Scout treat.
Classic indeed. And this is a good flavor. This is a good flavor too.
My favorite.
Can't go wrong. So talk to me a little bit about who Juliette Gordon-Lau was and how she founded this great organization.
Yeah, Juliette started the organization today on March 12th, Girl Scouts Day, back in 1912. And that's why today is known as Girl Scouts Day. Now, she started with 18 girls. Today, they have 2.5 million members. Incredible to think about. Across 90 different countries. And cumulatively, they've had more than 50 million members. So a lot of girls they've impacted over the many years. Now, the way she got the inspiration is she was hanging out in England with the founder of the Boy Scouts. And when she came to the U.S., she thought, well, we should have a way to have this for girls here to help develop them spiritually, physically, mentally, so the complete girl, if you will, right? And as a result, even early on, there was a lot of inclusion of the people of different ethnic, religious, social backgrounds, including people with disabilities, because she herself had an experience with that.
Oh, wow.
Because starting in her 20s, she was deaf, fully in one ear and partially in the other. So she understood what it meant to be able to be accessible to different kinds of folks.
What an incredible woman. And there's no question, I mean, just hearing her story about why she was chosen to be on the U.S. Quarter, but talk to me a little bit more about the history of her being on the U.S. Quarter now.
Yeah, so she's now on the U.S. Quarter. Of course, it's Women's History Month. Now, the United States Mint is putting out 20 different quarters. She's the 17th one.
Wow.
Over the course of 5 years in the American Women's Quarters program, which is the only one of its kind ever to be entirely dedicated to women in circulating quarters. So it's in your pocket. You can pull it out. And I think that's really valuable. It's on the same platform as George Washington, who's on the head side of the quarter. She's on the tail side of the quarter. And that's really important because that's money has been going back for centuries, and money for centuries is where nations have honored their heroes. That's usually what you find on coins. And she's been honored other ways as well in the past. She's been on a U.S. postage stamp. There was a ship named after her.
Wow.
She's in the Women's Hall of Fame. Ronald Reagan named a federal building in Savannah, where she's from, after her. And she was only the second woman to have a federal building named after her in the 1980s. And Barack Obama posthumously gave her the Presidential Medal of Freedom. So she's been recognized many ways, but now I think lives immortally, if you will, on money. Because we know coins go back thousands of years, and once you're there, that I think kind of etches you into the heroics of the nation.
What an incredible honor, and an American hero that we are celebrating today.
Absolutely, and still impacting not just the United States, but girls and people all over the world.
Fascinating. Well, as always, Rafi, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Stick around, we'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, President Donald Trump's steel and aluminum tariffs take effect. A 25% increase has been added to all steel and aluminum imports starting today. President Trump says taxes from the tariffs will help increase factory jobs in the U.S. The new tariffs follow a threat from President Trump to implement 50% tariffs on Canada's steel and aluminum imports, but held to 25% after the province of Ontario canceled plans to surcharge electricity sold to parts of the U.S. And early tax filing data shows higher returns this year, but some Americans could soon lose out on older unclaimed refunds. Now, the IRS says about $1 billion have yet to be claimed from the 2021 tax season and are set to expire on April 15th. The agency says the refunds belong to people who didn't file their 1040 federal income tax return in 2022. The IRS says the average unclaimed tax refund is estimated at $781. And some consumers are suing the Girl Scouts of America for allegedly selling cookies with dangerous foreign materials. A proposed class action lawsuit filed in New York City on Monday claims heavy metals and pesticides were found in the cookies. The case cites a study from 20 says samples of cookies included aluminum, arsenic, and lead above recommended health limits. The lawsuit seeks $5 million in damages. And with several recent tariffs being leveraged against the United States' top 3 trading partners, uncertainty over whether President Donald Trump will commit to additional tariffs as threatened are causing tension in the markets. Fox News' Ted Lindner spells out the potential impacts as cited by economists and how some businesses are bracing.
Despite setbacks to the stock market this week, President Donald Trump is casting down fears the nation is heading towards a recession.
I don't see it at all. I think this country is going to boom.
While President Trump maintains his series of recent tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China will boost U.S. manufacturing and the economy, businesses across the country are bracing for possible negative impacts.
So in the first Trump administration in 2018-2019, the president imposed tariffs against many of our trading partners, similar to what's happening today. Their response to that was to impose tariffs of their own.
Some economists say tariffs will force American companies to pay more to import certain goods, causing them to raise what they charge consumers to offset the costs. In California, the world's top almond producer, as petals from flowering trees start falling, fears over possible trade war escalations are rising.
80% roughly of all the almonds in the entire world are grown here in California.
China recently imposed an additional 10% retaliatory tariff on almonds, raising the total to 35%. This after China placed a 25% tariff on almonds during Trump's first time in office.
Exports of almonds from California to China went down over 50%.
India and countries in the European Union are also big importers of U.S. almonds. But with President Trump having threatened tariffs on the EU, the uncertainty over farmers' future financial prospects is hard to swallow.
Like if the tariff is a known thing, business finds a way.
Ted Lindner, Fox News.
And those are our top consumer stories. Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 7:44 now on this Wednesday morning. We have a total lunar eclipse as we go into very early Friday morning. So let's take a look real quickly at the timing on this. So partial eclipse begins just after midnight. We get to the total eclipse just before 1:30. Just before 2 a.m. we reach the maximum before the total comes to a close right around 2:30. And then by 3:47 Friday morning, that partial eclipse will end. So if you're an early riser, you stay up late by default, you want to stay up late for this because also we have clear skies Friday morning, and it's also going to be fairly mild, a bit breezy, but very good eclipse viewing weather. And if for any reason you missed this one, the next one won't be visible here until March 3rd of 2026. Now let's get on to the future track. For today, clouds will increase. We'll have clear skies through the morning. We'll have mostly cloudy to cloudy skies this afternoon. Still will be very warm out there. And between 6 and 11, again, an isolated shower or storm will be possible south of I-44, but I think the majority of us will be dry. And what we may see tonight, late this evening rather, is going to be 1 or 2 possible showers or storms out there. We'll have skies clearing overnight tonight and into our Thursday. It'll be a nice sunny and another very warm day across the 4 states, and winds will begin to pick up late in the day Thursday and as we go into Friday. So you can see by midnight, by the time of that eclipse, we're talking low mid 60s in some cases. Temperatures very mild going into Friday. So Friday we have a couple of problems. One, and this is the main problem we're going to face, is those winds. We're talking south winds gusting anywhere from 40 to 60 miles an hour. Some data suggests we could even see gusts as high as almost 70. So we're talking damaging wind gusts throughout the day on Friday. It's going to cause issues, of course, for high-profile vehicles. Could also lead to some power outages and some downed tree limbs as well. So just make sure you're prepared for that. It may not be a severe weather event causing these winds, but you need to treat it like one. You need to be very cautious and watch out there as we go through Friday. Now, as we head into Friday afternoon, clouds begin to increase a bit. Still very windy, and we'll start to see opportunities for a few isolated showers or storms, mainly on the Missouri side at this point, as that is going to be the beginnings of what's looking to be a very significant severe weather outbreak to our east. So we may get lucky, we may miss out on the worst of it, but we could still see a few stray storms out there. That said, again, here's that area highlighted for an isolated storm or two later today south of I-44. And then on Friday, we have that low risk and then the general thunderstorm risk, but you see it's squished way east. It's moved a little further east too than where it has been the last few days, and hopefully it stays that way. But we could again see the beginnings of that severe weather situation for our friends out east in our far eastern counties. Temperatures, we got some cool spots, 41 Iola, 40 in Sedan, most of us into the upper 40s and low to mid 50s, so a nice mild start to the day. Beautiful sunrise out there, skies are clear and they will be that way through the morning. Upper 50s by 8, near 70 by 11 a.m. Our highs today, upper 70s and low 80s. That'll be the case again tomorrow. Mid 70s on Friday. Of course, those potentially damaging wind gusts, and we'll watch those thunderstorm chances. If anything changes on that, we'll certainly let you know. Chilly, but seasonably so into the weekend. Back to the 70s next Monday and Tuesday. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more after this.
Well, while mental health experts say it's important to have ample time to relax after a hard day's work, researchers say you could kill two birds with one stone, citing how people could bolster their career development through hobbies in their free time.
Ted Lindner takes a closer look at leisure-work synergy and how to tell if it might be for you.
Looking to get ahead at work without having to spend more time on the clock? Researchers at Purdue University say a practice called leisure work synergy may help.
Leisure work synergizing is basically bringing aspects of your work life into your leisure or free time in ways that hopefully build your skills and competencies for work.
Behavioral experts recommend looking for ways to expand your professional development through your hobbies.
So for example, I am an avid reader. In the evenings, I love to pick up a book and just relax. And so if I'm leisure work synergizing, I'm choosing the latest popular press book on leadership or growth mindset instead of my usual fictional historical novel.
And the possibilities could be endless. It just comes down to identifying specific skills you want to refine in your free time.
Another example would be that I am a former musical theater kid. I would love to take an improv class. Perhaps I take an improv class in part to hone my skills in the classroom as an instructor and professor, enjoying the free time, enjoying the class, but knowing that I'm doing it strategically to enhance my work skills as well.
Analysts at Purdue University found many people engaging in leisure work synergy reported feeling more self-assured on the job.
They're feeling confident, they have something new to bring to work, and that allows them to thrive.
But this practice isn't for everyone. Researchers say some people need to have a strong divide between their work and personal lives.
So these kind of practices really work as long as you don't feel like you're sacrificing your time for work. That's just more working. But rather you are using your leisure time in ways that take care of more than one thing at a time.
Ted Lindner, Fox News.
Certainly interesting.
Yes.
You never know. And you may have hobbies already that lead
Right.
into what you want to do for a career, and that just kind of helps blend it.
It's all about finding the right balance.
Exactly. Yeah. That's tough sometimes. That can
really
be tough.
Be.
Well, we've got a pretty decent day ahead of us, and we've got some very gusty winds ahead of us as well. Quick look at the future track into this afternoon. We'll have clear skies through the morning. Clouds increasing this afternoon, going mostly cloudy to straight up cloudy, but still very warm out there. Again, an isolated shower storm possible between roughly 6 and 11 south of I-44. It's a very limited chance, but there may be 1 or 2 showers or storms. Skies clear overnight into Thursday, and Thursday we're going to be pretty good. We're just going to be clear. We're still going to be very warm across the area. Winds will start to pick up late Thursday into Friday, so if you're viewing the lunar eclipse after midnight on Friday, it's going to be very mild, but it's going to be breezy, and you'll have clear skies. As we get into Friday, though, the concern we've got is we're looking at wind gusts out of the south that could be anywhere from 40 to 60 miles an hour. Some data suggests we could even see some gusts upwards of 70. So we're talking damaging wind gusts out there. It could lead to some power outages, down tree limbs, blow things around, and of course cause major problems for high-profile vehicles, especially if you're traveling for the weekend. Late Friday afternoon, evening, we could see a couple of stray showers or storms on the Missouri side as we get ready to kick off a significant severe event for our friends to the east. But at this point, our severe threat very limited across the area, which is good. But of course, if it changes, we'll let you know. We'll have one more look at your forecast and the news you need to know right after this.
And here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Gavina McJunkins Macias of Carthage pleads guilty in the murder of his wife in Kansas. Junkins entered a guilty plea for murder in the second degree, unintentional but reckless, in the death of his wife, Kenaya Lopez of Carthage. Her body was discovered last June inside a camper trailer on the 600 block of North Main Street in Carthage. McJunkins' sentencing for second-degree murder in Kansas is next month. And another power outage in Carthage yesterday leaves thousands of customers in the dark. It's the latest in a series of outages lately, causing growing frustration throughout the community. There is a temporary fixtures in place by the CPA, and crews are working toward a permanent fix. Officials announced that Stockton Lake will be a new source of drinking water for part of Missouri. Storage space in Stockton Lake will now be reallocated to provide drinking water to communities throughout southwest Missouri, as well as industrial water. The project will provide 38 million gallons daily with no major impact on the lake.
And we've got another warm day out there, upper 70s, low 80s, clouds increasing this afternoon, south winds 5 to 10, occasional gusts to 20. Then mostly cloudy through the evening, perhaps an isolated shower or storm south of I-44 between 6 and 11. Skies clearing overnight, going back into the upper 40s and low 50s. Got a nice day tomorrow, sunny, warm, upper 70s, low 80s, and we're watching that potential for damaging wind gusts upwards of 60 miles an hour on Friday, and we could see at least a few isolated storms in the afternoon, early evening as part of a bigger system off to our east.
Alrighty, well, in Wisconsin, a 4-year-old child calls 911 claiming his mother ate his ice cream. The Village of Mount Pleasant Police Department said officers received a call from a little boy saying his mom was being bad and needed to go to jail. When officers arrived, the boy had changed his mind about wanting his mom to go to jail.
No calling 911 unless it's a real emergency, okay? That's what one officer could be heard telling the child. The officers came back the following day with frozen treats in tow, according to the department. Kind of like that donut emergency down in Moore. We have an ice cream emergency.
These kids, their sugar.
Yeah, right. They know. Well, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We're back at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.